Mm-hmm. 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 Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy.
Okay, so we got our blue skin done, which is just the waterproofing. And then it's overkill, but zip tape the top edge there, just because sometimes you get these seams right here and they create little water channels. It's really hard to get this stuff on here perfect. So anyway, just to prevent any water, zip tape the whole top, rolled it with the zip roller. And now we're gonna work on these little corners here. So I'm probably just gonna take the zip tape and just go over and then drape it down, just to get that corner better. And then I'll hit all the corners of the foundation with it. And it should be good to go, and then we're gonna work on insulation.
And then you put your phone on there. Lean it up against there.
I'm already.
We need to get these in position. And roll.
Flush? Good. How about that? How about just a shitload of it? Okay, there it is. That is what about $20,000 looks like. Our roof joist and our second floor joist, and then the roof decking and some tongue and groove for the second floor that still has to get delivered. But we have to wait for the joist to be built. So that's probably $20,000 worth of lumber, which is crazy. Okay, so with the lumber package arriving, let's take a little inventory, figure out what we got. There is more coming on another truck, or maybe two trucks, but so basically right here, this big giant one here, this is a glue lam beam, so that's one beam. It's 24 foot long by, I think it's like 15.5 inches wide. So this is what's gonna span the big open gap between our two outside walls. So imagine if you look at this right in the middle, if there's going to be a big 6x6 post that goes up 8 feet and then up 8 feet, and then that glue lam beam is going to span all the way across at that 8 foot mark, and that's what we're going to land our second floor joists on, running to the back of the house there. And so it's plenty big to span 25. I think it will span 30 feet, but it's plenty big. And then here we've got our rigid rim board. So it's thick. It's basically an LVL, but it's rim board, so it goes around the perimeter of the house, and that's what your outside walls will land all their weight on. It'll rest all its weight on these. And then, of course, our eye joist. So this is the floor joist. So this is going to span across, all the way across, boom, 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 all the way down. And then we've got a pallet of tongue and groove. There is more tongue and groove coming. I had to reject some of that because it was pretty roughed up, but tongue and groove. So that's going to be subfloor for the bottom floor and the top floor. And then we've got OSB here. So a full bunk of OSB. Plus there's more OSB in the end. Our bearing plates and our nuts for the anchor bolts. 2x6x8s. 2x6x16s. So those are for our tall walls. 6x6 posts. So these are 16 foot. So one of these is going to get cut in half and go for that glue lam beam. And then two more of them are going to get cut in half, and that's going to go every corner of the house is going to have a 6x6 beam on it. Actually, So only one of them is going to get cut in half. Because it'll be 8 foot, 8 foot back there. And then 2 of them will go 16 foot corner all the way up. And then this is our mud plate. So this is the very first, like really the very first wood that you install on the concrete block has to be mud plate, pressure treated, so that if the water seeps out of the concrete up, it doesn't ruin your lumber. Underneath that, we've got our 12 foot 2x12 by 12s. So these are for headers above doors, windows, that kind of stuff. And then 2x6 by 12s, which we're going to use on the tall walls. 2x4s for interior walls, and then the rest of our OSB sheathing. So all of that is about $20,000. And then we've got those RFPI 90s, which basically these ones here are the RFPI 400s. So even though it's a bigger number, it's a smaller joist. It is these are 11 3/4, I think it's 3/4, 11 7/8. They're 11 7/8 tall, and the flange is only like 1.5 inches, I think. It's really small, but these hold a lot of weight because of the way they're built. So the RFPI 90s that we got are, the flange is bigger and they're 14-inch deep. And the reason they're 14-inch deep is because the bigger flange you get, the more distance you can span horizontally, and the wider it is, the more insulation you can pack in there. So because we have 14-inch on our roof, we're going to be able to pack like 12 inches of insulation up into the roof to make sure our roof is nice and insulated so we don't lose a lot of heat. We also built a little dog kennel for the dogs so we can keep an eye on them while we are working. Little enclosed space. We're going to put a big water dish in there, a couple of beds, some toys. They'll hang out, and then a little hangout space for us for when we need to take a break. I call it the break room. And then, yeah, got the dumpster delivered. It's rocking and rolling. We're getting ready to go figure out some plumbing stuff, and then we're going to put down the vapor barrier in the crawl space. And then next step is going to be pony wall and mud plate.
This should come halfway to the... Trust me, I'm not. Haven't found it.
Stop bugs from getting into the house. That's what that's for. What? Oh. Okay. Okay, how you looking?
That too.
Okay. Start here. All right, check it out. End of day 1 of framing, and this is how far we've got. We've got floor joists on the floor. So we got the pony wall all framed up, good to go. I'll take some video of that tomorrow and show you guys. Basically, it's just mud plate, studs, double top plate, all done, framed up. And then we got all of our anchor bolts done, all the mud plate done, everything. And then we just laid out some floor joists. And yeah, it's looking really good. It had a very successful day 1. So I'm hoping tomorrow we'll get the floor joist set. It would be great if we could just get the floor joist set them right, get the rim board on. And then if we want to get real ambitious, maybe we'll get the subfloor on, but I don't know. That might be too ambitious. So at least this weekend, we'll get the subfloor done because we've got Saturday and Sunday. So it's looking pretty good. Hopefully we get a skid steer out here soon so we can backfill this, because walking the plank is a little scary sometimes, but yeah. So we'll see you guys tomorrow for some more framing, and hope maybe get crazy. Maybe we'll get the subfloor on.
Got a lot of different playlists depending on the group.
Yeah. Oh, I haven't had one of these.
Here's our update. I'm trying to film. It's very hard. We're doing a lot of work, but we got the rim board on. We got our joists laid out and nailed in on that side there. And then we're working on laying out, and then we're gonna nail in this side here. And then we're gonna have a platform. Then we gotta do tongue and groove. It's all good. We gotta do our insulation in there. That's what we're doing. All right, we got our floor joist set, nailed down on the center beam, center pony wall. Down there, we're gonna start working on blocking across the middle. And then we've got our insulation and fire foam on the edges all the way down. We got to trim that a little bit right there, but then we'll get these blocks done and then our insulation there as well. And then we'll be ready for some floor deck. It's pretty cool. Pretty tired. Alrighty, yo. It is the end of day 2 of framing. Tried to record what I could, but difficult, you know. Only a couple of us here, so. Anyway, this is where we're at. So the rim board is on, joists are on, our blocking down the center is done. This is where we're at. I'll kind of walk you guys through what we did today, since I didn't really show it, but basically rim board, you can see right here, rim board, we nailed on this way. So we just measured 2 at 24 foot. Those are our ends. And then we threw on a 24 foot, because that's what they came in, just a 24 foot piece. And then we cut one at, it was like 15 and 7 inches or something. And then those went inside to inside. So all the way on the other side, there's the exact same joint where it lands on the inside of the next board. And then you just did that along the edge of our mud plate. So that's what the external walls will rest on, is that joint right there. So made sure it's on there really good, nailed it in real good. And then after that, then we attached our joist. You can see our layout. So we pulled 16 on center from that end this way, because when they did the block, that's how they laid it. So you always want to pull the same way, because then your bolt layout will make it so you don't land any of your bolts on any of your joists. So we didn't have to cut out any joists or anything, which is good because you don't want to do that. Anyway, so pulled 16 on center, dropped them in, and then laid them across, got them square, all that. Then we just measured our blocking. So you have to measure each individual block. In theory, you can just measure 14, but it didn't work out in practice. So you have to measure each one individually, and it was off, you know, an eighth here and there, but in the end, the total structure is square. And so we pulled from that corner to that corner, and then from that corner to that corner is the same. It's all square. So that's the most important thing. And then, as you can see, we got our vapor barrier pulled up and stapled up to the top of the mud plate. So the whole thing is vapor barriered. Usually people go 6 mil plastic for vapor barrier. We decided we were going to go 10, just because the last crawl space that I had in my old house was pretty rough. You could like poke through the plastic real easy. So I just wanted something really thick. But yeah, we just did 2 runs of that all the way down. It's stapled all the way up to the top of the mud plate on both sides, so should be totally encased. And then we added, these are our foam pieces that we cut in the last episode here. So we added those on, trimmed them down to fit, and then added a little bit of fire block foam in between the joists just to make them, you know, really airtight there. So should be a very well insulated crawl space. So name of the game tomorrow is we're going to go up where the first joist meets the rim board, and we're going to block this way every 16. And then same thing on this, I call this the south wall. It's not actually south, but that's how we've been calling it. But anyway, we're going to block every 16 that way because we're going to have some tall walls and the second floor kind of resting there. So we want to make sure those are sturdy. And then once those blocks are done, we're going to cut away all the plastic around the edge, the extra plastic. Then we're going to lay our floor. So hopefully tomorrow, the floor, actually we have to get the floor done tomorrow because it's going to rain Monday. So we definitely have to get the floor done tomorrow. But yeah, end of day 2, pretty successful, pretty good. Things are working out pretty well. I don't have any complaints. They've probably got some complaints. They're probably not loving that, but you know, it's better than sitting in a kennel. All right, little update from this morning. We're working on blocking this, we're calling it the north wall, but it's not actually north, but that's what we're calling it. Working on blocking up the north wall, almost through that, and then we're headed back to the south wall here. It'll be really rigid when we're done.
Only 3 more.
Yeah, I'll just give you the last 3. Just check.
Double check.
13.5 the rest of the way.
Nice. That's definitely, that corner's where we start putting flooring down.
Yeah, I think so. Okay, so we're gonna go. Oh, I already nailed that one. Da-da. Okay, so we're gonna go 1 nail in from the rim board on the top and bottom flange. Then we go 2 down on the side. Out of nails. Two down on the flange into the mud plate. 1 on the other side to give it some resistance. And then I've been going like this, just 1 kind of toenail through the top and then making sure that's down. And that gives it a lot of resistance. So same thing, top, bottom, mud plate, mud plate, mud plate, top. There you go. That's how we're doing our blocking. Then I could block down here as well, but I think it's just overkill because these joists can span 20 feet without any blocking or anything. They're made to span 20 feet, and we've got it on a pony wall at 12 and then blocked on the edges. I think it's totally fine to just leave it open. So we're gonna leave it open in the center, and then we're just gonna use the extra joists for the second floor, for blocking on the second floor, because they're not going to be the same exactly, because the flanges on the second floor are wider. These are only 2 inch. I think the flanges on the second floor are 3 inch, but they're the same height, so they'll be good for blocking just fine. But he's bringing my last 3 pieces, and then we're gonna start on flooring after that. I think that's, oh no, we gotta do our insulation here. But that'll be quick. That's just a razor knife. She's looking pretty level. I don't know. She's looking pretty level, everybody. That looks pretty damn good. Okay, so we are currently backfilling the trench around the foundation, but I'm sparing you guys the dirt work here because I think we've all seen enough dirt. But what I wanted to show you was this. So if you remember, when we were doing our mud plate and our rim board, we were putting down a bead of caulk and then putting down the sill. So like right here you can see. So show you the reason why we did that, because that's overkill. You don't have to do that, but if you look right here, so that right there is the Lexel caulk, and the reason we caulked the sill and around the rim board is because these are little gaps that bugs and air and other crap can get into your house. So like, this is a good example of why we chose Lexel. But anyway, so we caulk these because I don't want a bunch of bugs and a bunch of air and, you know, whatever coming in through these little gaps. And the reason we chose Lexel was because Lexel doesn't harden. It doesn't harden like other caulks. It stays in this kind of gooey, semi-liquid state, and so it will give if the boards need to kind of like squish or expand and contract, then it will give a little here and there, but it won't hold the floor from, like, it won't snap off basically. And so that's why we chose this. And so when you look at gaps like this down here, that's a good example. Gaps like this, where the rim board is kind of cut a little bit and then it kind of shoots in. Those are perfect gaps for spiders and other crap to get in. And so we went ahead and Lexel'd that. And I highly recommend, if you guys are gonna do something, spend the money and do that, because it's I think gonna make a big difference in the end.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah. I think that we've all had enough.
Okay, everybody, it's the end of day 3 of framing? Day 3.
Shoot, I don't
day
know.
3. 3 days of framing. Boom. The floor is 99% done. We have to snap 16 on center across it and nail it down, but it is all there. It is all laid down. We left the last 4-foot board on the end open. Well, we just didn't nail it down or glue it down, so we can get in and out of the crawl space until we cut our access hole later. So that is it. We are done with this. All right, quick little update. Even though we finished the floor before the rain, the seams are not completely waterproof, which I kind of knew buying this subfloor. It's a little cheaper subfloor, so it's not really treated the way that like Advantech subfloor is. But so what we've decided to do, Kaylee is down in the crawl space right now dry mopping. I hooked up the generator with some lights and a big dehumidifier in there, and then we threw some Damperit in there as well. And then while she's down there dry mopping, I'm hoisting the buckets up and dumping them. I'm gonna be chalking the lines for 16 on center nailing, and then tomorrow when it's not raining at all, or Thursday when it's not raining at all, we're gonna nail the subfloor down. That's it. Thank you guys for watching our first framing video. Very exciting. 3 days. 3 days. So like, subscribe. See you on the next one.